Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you are in this beautiful world, welcome to Lunch with Joy. Excuse me, I tried to swallow my voice there. Welcome to Lunch with Joy. Today we are talking about how we can make AI systems reliable, ethical, and unbiased. Very, very critical points, very important things for us to be looking at. And when we look at AI, it is critical that we start thinking about what is going on. We have the choice to do unethical, to not do unethical, to do unethical, to not do unethical, to make it reliable, and to throw away the bias, to keep the bias out of there. We have to be aware of what's going on. We need to know what is happening, but we are able to protect and take care of ourselves and everything around us. It is critically important, in my opinion, but I think that is, we want to take over this before the governments decide to get in and start putting rules and regulations in there, because the governments will get in and they'll end up creating their own regulations and their own bias, and you'll have, depending upon the person, every one of us has got a bias. I'm biased. I know that. I'm not perfect. I don't think that there's a person on this planet that's perfect. You've heard me say it before. The last one that was able to walk on water died over 2,000 years ago. So I don't think there's anybody here that's going to be perfect. And we need to make sure that we are aware of what's going on. There are certain things that we can do, and we need to make sure that we are handling and dealing with all the things that are going on for us, around us, and by us. Shocking statistic. According to Gartner, 54% of AI projects make it from pilot to production. Just over 50%, barely over 50%. Almost half of them fail. Why? Because they're not reliable. Because getting that reliability is a very tough and challenging thing to do. You want to get the same answers coming back over and over and over. You cannot do it just by saying, okay, yeah, do this for me and do that for me. It won't work that way. It is not going to give you the same answer every single time. You can ask the same question of AI. It'll potentially come back with two different answers. Sometimes it comes back the same, but not typically. You'll typically get more than one answer. And if you ask different AI systems, you ask ChatGPT, you ask Gemini, you ask Claude, you ask Llama, you ask any of the other ones out there, you're going to get a different answer from each one, because each one has been programmed by somebody different, and they have got different thoughts, different reasonings, different ways of dealing with things. And so you need to make sure that you're in control. And I'm guessing, Fifi Lai from Stanford. Fei Li is his name, from Stanford. And he is he's an expert. He is studied AI since before it began. He is one of the leading people out there that is going to be able to tell you what's going on and what's needed. And he says accuracy We need to deal with the accuracy, but we need to make sure that we have the consistency and the robustness to handle every edge and every case, every single piece of every case. We need to know what is going on and why it is going on. And so how do we ensure that we're going to get reliability? Well, we need to do rigorous, heavy duty testing. You've got to do testing, and you've got to make sure that things continue to come in the same way you are expecting if you ask the same question twice. You need to be continuously monitoring what is going on, what is being input and what is coming out, because the old garbage in, garbage out still is going to apply. If you put garbage into AI, you're going to get garbage back. So you need to know what is going in and what is coming out. And you need to be constantly on top of it, doing updates. They are going to be changing AI faster than we can think, and it's going to happen sooner than we can think. And you need to make sure that you're right there with it and able to do. The next piece, which is my all-time favorite, I probably should have attempted to become an ethics professor, because ethics is one of my sticky points. We need to look at the ethics. We need to know, is AI doing good for us? And are the people that are using AI for us, are they working ethically? Are they working like I do, where I do the work, I do a lot of writing, and then I'll put it into AI and have it make it pretty for me? Or are they just putting information in, asking a question, putting a prompt in, and asking AI to do all the work for them? I've done that. I'm not going to lie, I have. But even when I do that, I will still go through, do little updates, put me into it to make sure that I'm in everything that I'm writing. I don't want AI to be taking over my life. I don't want it living my life. I want to live my life. I want to be able to explain it. 81% of organizations cite ethics as one of the top 3 risks for using AI. Did you hear that? 81% of all the businesses out there cite ethics as one of the top 3 as a major concern for using AI. And that is one of the things that keeps many people away from it. A lot of business owners will stay away from it because they're concerned about the ethics. I have given you today, there is attached to the description, you will find in there, you have an ethics, a reliability, and want to make sure you get your proper name for it, Joy. Get the right name. There we go. A AI readiness and ethics assessment tool. It will give you an assessment of where your business stands right now regarding AI and how you are handling it and how you're dealing with it. You can, from there, begin to move forward. Because if you don't know where you're going, if you don't know where you're starting, it doesn't make any difference where you want to go. You're just going to go round and round in circles. Like anyone that is lost, you take somebody out into the woods and tell them to go, and don't give them a compass or any kind of markings or anything. They're going to walk in circles. It is a known fact. It is what we do. You don't want to be walking your business in circles. You want to be getting it and doing something with it and making sure that you're moving along. So to be able to manage and handle the ethics, you have to first establish very clear, very definite guidelines. You need to know what you want, what you're willing to accept, and what is not acceptable. You also want as much transparency as you can possibly come up with, because without the transparency, nobody knows what the assumptions are or where you're coming from and where you're going. They don't know without the assumptions, we don't know what the built-in bias is. And like I said, we all have biases. Even though I don't like to admit that I have biases, but I do. We all do. It doesn't make any difference. There's something that's going to give us a little bias here or there. We need to make sure that we are aware of what's going on and that we can let others know where we stand, what we're looking at, what we're looking for, and that is only through being transparent. We need to also involve as many diverse perspectives as we can. We don't want it all being just our thoughts. We want to make sure that we've got others involved. You want your spouse, your partner, your business associate, and your employees. Yes, your employees, because they're going to have a different perspective than you're going to have. And then looking at the bias, what can we do? How can we deal with bias? Bias, 2023 study found that facial recognition systems had error rates of up to 34% for darker skinned females compared to 0.8% for lighter skinned males. The difference looking at a man versus a woman was so dramatic, and whether they were light skinned or whether they were dark skinned made a huge difference. And so it is a problem that we need to be aware of because it's built into so many things that we do. We need to make sure that we know what's going on. So, how are we going to do that? We need to make sure that we have a diverse set of data, that our data doesn't come from just one place, one spot, one person. We need to make sure that we do regular, get this, regular, that means continuous bias audits. And nobody likes audits, but we need to be checking that all the time to find out where that is. Where are we having the problem like the traffic systems, the traffic systems that are out there, the facial recognition program that is out there and has a 34% error when looking at a dark-skinned woman versus an 0.8% error when looking at a light-skinned man. We need to know what our systems are doing. We need to make sure that we get in there and we have a diverse team. Not the DEI. We don't need that. We don't want the DEI. We want a diverse team. We want to be able to look at the male perspective, the female perspective, and all the different things that are going on. We want to be able to know what we have and what we're looking at. And we need to be able to step back and say, how is this affecting everything that we're doing? Is it giving us good information? Is it giving us challenged information? Or is it giving us something that is going to be very helpful? That's what's going to make our ability to do better to be more successful with our businesses is to be able to understand what AI is giving us. We need to know where we stand versus where does that AI, what is it looking at, what is it coming up with, and what's it telling us. We need to know the different things that are going on there. So we need to be able to make all this happen. There are 5 things that we really want to be doing. We need to invest in AI literacy. We need to know how to work with it. You don't need to know how to make it happen, but you need to understand how it is happening. You don't need to be the one that can write that perfect prompt that's going to get the best answer out there, but you need to know how that perfect prompt is being written. Who is writing it? How are they checking it? And who is collaborating? And collaboration is going to be one of the top things that you can do. Collaborating with experts, collaborating with people on your team, just getting as many thoughts and as many ideas in without overpowering and without too many cooks spoil the soup. We don't want to spoil the soup, but we do want to have enough of variations in there so that we can make sure that we are able to not look at it just one way, but be looking at it dozens of different ways to see the different things that are out there. And it is always best to start small and then scale. When I started working with AI, I was working with just my work, just my stuff, my things. I've now expanded to be able to help other people, and I continue working. I keep adding one piece at a time and one thing at a time. I am not perfect. Nobody is. But by starting small, I'm able to be much more successful because I understand what I've got, what I'm doing, and what is happening. You want to be able to do the same. And you also have got to stay informed. I subscribe to multiple, as much as I get frustrated trying to read everything, I subscribe to multiple journals, to multiple...
Hi, Joy. I'm Ali Raza.
I subscribe to multiple journals and multiple blog posts and different things so that I can stay aware of what is happening out there. When I find something that is really good, that's giving me a massive amounts of information that are different information than others are giving me, I definitely pull the subscription. I do a subscription to that immediately so that I can stay aware of the different things that are out there that are happening. Because AI is changing minute by minute. It is not going to stay the same. And we always need to make sure that we prioritize our transparency. We've got to be able to see through what is being done and know what the background is, what the underlying is, and know what is happening with the AI. That's how you can end up being in control and making sure that the computer doesn't control you, doesn't take over your business, doesn't give you information that's leading you down what you think is a primrose path, and it's leading you right into the swamp. You don't want to go into the swamp. You want to stay right in the middle and be able to deal with a little bit of everything out there. Not necessarily everything, but a little bit of everything. So you can be aware of what's going on and what's happening. And like I said, I've got the assessment tool, the ethics assessment tool, the AI readiness and ethics assessment tool. It is out there for you. You can click on the link that's in the description. on all the social medias. Hopefully, they've all posted it and put it up there. I did not check them all this morning, but they have been being pretty good at putting up my links so that people can get the things that I'm offering. And it's a free quiz. It's a quiz. You gives you a scoring card, and you just score it yourself and see where you stand. There are 4 categories, and you'll fit into one of the 4 categories, and it's just 10 questions. It gives you the ability to know a little bit more about where you and your business stand today, so you can continue on and make things happen. So with that, I think that I've hit you with a lot. I've given you a lot of things to look at, a lot of things to be thinking about. And AI is not easy. But let's make AI work for us ethically and effectively. So, are you with me on that one? I hope you are. If you are, make sure you grab the assessment tool and check out where you're at right now and keep moving forward. And remember, I love you. I love you because you are you. And that is so very, very special. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing all that you share with me. And thank you for participating. Make sure that you, and it's up here today, like, subscribe, and share this with your friends and buddies and everybody else. And make sure you ring that bell. Click the bell so that you get notified every time I release a new live. With that, make sure you have a great one. Take care, and I will see you tomorrow.